Hey everyone, and welcome to Don't Make a Scene. I'm Jess, your host. And before I get started, I have to say that I am a little under the weather yet again. I swear this is a thing when you have a child, you just get sick all the time. I was literally just having a conversation with my husband, and he's like, "You never got sick before having a baby." And he's not wrong because I did not. I don't know what has happened, but clearly I need to start taking some like probiotics or vitamin C or something. So that I will put on my to-do list. Um, Speaking of motherhood, I have a guest on today's show, Briana Masiello. She is one of my best friends in the entire world, and I asked her if she would come on and talk about her journey through motherhood. With Mother's Day just passing this past Sunday, I thought this would be perfect. She is one of the most inspiring mothers and women I know. She has done this without the support of her own mother, who sadly passed away just a few years before Briana started her journey. But still, she leads with such grace and truth, and she sticks to her gut and her intuition. She mothers the way that she wants to. She does things a little bit unconventionally, which I love so, so much, but she's received a lot of pushback and a lot of shit from people. She still does, and she leads still without letting the outside noise shake her. She just stays rooted in who she is and what she is. And again, it's just truly inspiring. In this episode, she talks about her journey and just her transformation, how she lost herself and found herself again, and how right now she just feels more comfortable in her skin than she ever has before. I think you guys will really resonate with it. I don't think you have to be a mother to resonate with it, or a parent to connect with it, because everybody goes through these ebbs and flows through life. So I think you will love her as much as I do. And just thank you so much for listening.
You know what this feels like to me? Sometimes when I'm on Facebook, I'll get the Facebook memories and it's you leaving me one of those messages, like the video messages on Facebook. We've grown since then.
Blurry. They were so blurry.
They were so embarrassing. Like, what were we doing?
I wouldn't be mad if you just like delete them.
I'm never deleting them, but I do make it a point to delete all the stupid statuses I wrote.
Oh my gosh, we used to go back and forth a lot.
Well,
like we would
not
write
even
out our day to each other for everyone else to see our day to each other.
Yes, we would tell each other what we're going to do.
Breakfast. Jess cooked me breakfast. Jess is coming in my room at 4 p.m. to watch Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah. Well, what's weird is we literally lived together. So why were we writing on each other's Facebook walls?
Right. We just had to like go across the living room and knock on each other's door.
So funny.
And when your freshman year of college, we kind of shared a room because you never slept.
I think about that. Sorry, I have an almond in my tooth. I think about that all the time. Gosh, what was I telling someone the other day?
Because I took dorm room and
my roommate.
Yes, you guys were polar opposites. And I think like my mom was like, "No, you have to live here." And I wasn't in a dorm room at first, but she was like, "Yeah, you're gonna get your own bathroom." And I think I'm gonna come in on this. So
yeah, I'm gonna go live with you.
Turn me away.
Yeah, it was so bad, but because you had that apartment that had an extra room.
Oh yeah, didn't we get it unlocked?
We got it unlocked, and I would go in there and hang out.
Yes, and you had a bathroom to like get ready.
I had my own bathroom.
There was like nothing in it, but like a mattress and like a desk.
I was cool with it. It was better than my freaking dorm room. No, but I was thinking the other day how I took you were such a bad influence. I took Adderall
at my table.
Yes, and I immediately had to shit. And then I just sat in front of your mirror. I don't know, in your room you had a slide mirror. And I plucked my eyebrows the entire time. I spent my Adderall journey plucking my eyebrows so thin
Oh
And
my,
it was so bad. And I'm like, I'm
that
never doing
is.
Adderall again. Like
Did we study that night?
we we
That was
tried.
the point of taking that
That
Adderall.
was the point. And I decided, you know what? Bathroom break. Oh, and while we're at it, look at these tweezers. And I just like went
Yeah,
to town on my freaking
yeah.
eyebrows. And that
Yes,
was
I do
my
remember my closet
experience.
door was a mirror in the
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. But no, you were my saving grace in college. Also the
a
worst.
little bit.
Yeah. It's
You
so,
kept me together. You held me together when I was like spiraling.
I don't think you were spiraling.
No?
No, I just think you were having fun. You were definitely more fun than me. Um, you went out a lot.
Hmm.
You went out a lot. And it's so funny when your mom and my mom would drive up together
Oh
and
my,
like your mom and you would go out and party.
yeah, my
My
mom came.
mom and I would stay home and like get dinner and watch movies and like I don't know, and it was just so funny because she
She
would go out
just
with you.
she went I like remember her one night coming to gosh, I couldn't even tell you the name of the bar where they would do the floor moved upstairs.
AJ's?
AJ's, yes. And I
Yeah.
remember
Oh my
we
God.
were downstairs and she was like just sitting at the bar and there might have been like other parents there. I don't know. And I
Yeah.
just remember her looking at like this guy and she was like, wow, he's gorgeous, Brianna. And I think I like tried talking to him and he wanted absolutely nothing to do with me. He's like, yeah,
What? Oh my God. Your mom should have went up and been like, hey,
yeah.
here's my daughter
I
over
think I'm
there.
friends with him on Facebook.
That's hilarious. I did a huge purge recently. I think I have like 60 friends on Facebook right now. I deleted
Well,
everybody. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't care about them. And if there is a day where I decide to post my daughter, I've been like, I don't want people to just like see her face. They have
that's
to be
true.
chosen.
Can you send me like 3 or 4 photos? I haven't seen
Yeah,
her in a while.
I know. I will. I'll send from Easter. They're so cute.
Yeah, cute.
Her personality is really coming through too now. And uh,
Yeah.
like this morning, she actually let us sleep. She woke up at 7:30 and she's like kissing her bunny. She's just like and waving at her bunny in her crib. And I'm like, oh, you're so cute. It's just,
She is cute.
this is the perfect age. But anyways, but like college, yeah, was so wild. I remember Corey, did he live next door to us, across from us?
So remember, I went home for winter break and I
Mm-hmm.
met him. I was with Travis, lived
Yeah.
across from us,
Okay.
and he brought Corey to a party. And then
Mm-hmm.
remember, in our apartments, there was like that extra storage room that was like super large. I don't know, like where you could
Where?
put a vacuum and like cases of water. It
In
was right by
our apartment?
yes, it was in every apartment there.
Oh,
It was
so
really
fun.
large to where like you could sleep on the floor in there. So
Yeah.
Corey decided after he met me, love at first sight, right? No,
Aw.
up there, and Travis was like, "Why don't you just come sleep in this extra room? Look how big it is." And
Like
I think,
Harry Potter.
yeah, and I think he had a blow-up mattress. Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
even realize that.
yeah,
Yeah, and then you guys started dating in college.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I
Um,
almost lost him a few times. I will acknowledge that.
why? What do you mean? Because of you just being an ass.
Me.
You being you.
Um, Yeah, I almost lost him in college a couple times. He was getting his life together. Remember, he moved home. I
Mm-hmm.
was still
Having
partying.
fun.
And
Yeah.
then, when we moved home, I think, I went back to bartending. It was just easy. And here he was starting a career as a firefighter. And, he got sick of me. And then my mom, it's like my favorite story to tell. Like right before my mom passed, it was kind of like, I was in my senior year up there
Mhm.
and she would take Corey to lunch down here. Like,
Oh, I
because he
didn't know
was,
that.
yeah, he moved back down here, like, and did like the Proby camp to be a
Yeah.
firefighter at 21 or 22 or whatever
Mhm.
when he got hired. And my mom would take him to lunch, buy him dinner, whatever. And she was just like, I think at one point I was like a mess. And she was
Mhm.
just like, what are you doing with my daughter? you are too good for her. Like,
I love that.
I want to say my sister was at that dinner. So
Yeah.
I'd have to like, yes, I want to say she was there and she tells the story better, she was there.
Yeah.
And I think I moved home and I was like, fuck, if I don't get back with Corey, like, who am I going to end up with? Like,
Yeah.
what is out there for?
Reality check. No, I
It
mean,
was
okay.
reality check. And it was really kind, like, because when I moved home, my mom was super, super frail and sick at that point.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like Corey was coming over, taking her blood pressure. She would always be like, Corey, I need my blood pressure taken. And like, he was there for me. And I was just like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Trying to
Like
like
he was
still
there for your mom.
right. And I was trying to like be this independent woman, right? My mom wanted me to get the college experience and move out of the house and, learn how to like provide for myself. And she wanted nothing more than for me to get a 4-year degree from a university and be like a boss bitch. And, because, my dad wasn't in the house. My mom raised us 3 kids. So she had that masculine energy where she just had to work, provide, and have her ducks in a row and play both roles in a sense. And so I think she tried to raise my sister and I to be independent, strong women.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I was fighting that for a while where I was like, I don't need to answer to a man. No one's going to tell me what to do. And I feel like when I decided to get my life together and I wanted to get married and have children, I was like, you know what? I could still be the boss bitch in and I'm, and it was hard. Like I did, go on to work after and use my degree, but when I chose to have 3 children back to back, it was kind of like, you know what? Like I'm the CEO of my home.
Yes.
I hold it together. I cook, I clean, I take the kids here and there. I make sure my husband's taken care of when he goes on his 24-hour shifts at the fire station. And it's a different kind of role of still being a strong, independent woman. And
Absolutely.
you can do that. So I was trying to like gravitate. I grew up without a father in the home. So I didn't think I needed a man. And I think that's where a lot of the confusion kind of happened. And here was Corey. I'll never forget when he first came up to visit me in Tallahassee after we met, he filled my gas tank, like just because he saw it on empty. And I was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Like I can pay for my own gas,
Yeah.
And he
Wait, did
just
that upset you at the
it
time?
no, it didn't upset me. I think I was just like, wow, there's like a man who wants to care and provide for me and kind of like
Without me asking. It's not,
yeah. He was a gentleman,
Yeah.
he opened the car door, he still does when we go on dates and, things like that. And just that kind of aspect of like allowing a man into your life. And I was fighting it for a while. I wanted to be that crazy college girl who partied, who had fun, who didn't care about and the world around me. I was just living for the dead. And I do still do that. But also, I think our relationship works because I've said this before, Corey knows who I am. And the people close to me who know me know that like, you can't put me in a box. I cannot be caged. I have to be able to do and try things that I want to do. And he allows me to do that. He allows me to still have that independence and explore new things and make mistakes, to an extent. And
he allows you to be a human being. And to own your life.
And to also have like my own life. Like my girlfriends are so important to me. I want to go on trips with them. I want to go see them. I have, even you, for example, I have a handful of girls that like have been in my life. Like you guys are my backbone in a sense where like, I know that if I ever went through a hard time, I could show up at your door and you'd say, Ricky, get out of the bed. And I could just come and,
I'd say, Ricky, get out of the house right now.
And it needs me. And I know like I have those wholesome relationships and I love that like he lets me still have those relationships,
Yeah.
And
well, it's a partnership.
Right. And not that like he would ever tell me not to, but he lets me have separate, like how do I like that my world revolves around my husband and my family, but I like having other mini worlds and relationships too, if that makes sense. And
Yes.
yeah.
Which
Yeah.
every woman needs, right? Like you and I are a lot, we're very similar. We are very independent. You can't put us in a box. You can't put us in a cage. Like, and so we need men who are confident and secure enough in themselves so that they can be secure enough in our relationship, right? So that they can give us that space. It just took you and I a while, to find men who were like that. You and I did not grow up around men who were like that. We had terrible relationships. You,
Yeah.
again, coming from like a broken home
Right.
where your dad was absent, like you didn't
Mhm.
have that role model in your life, So it's just, so when you find somebody like Corey and you're like, oh my God, he's filling up my gas tank, like this is what it's like.
Let me crawl back to that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, well, that's what I'm wondering because your mom keeping that relationship with Corey, because that obviously was a pivotal moment because you remember that story so well. But was that the moment that you were like, okay, I'm done and I'm gonna
Absolutely
choose
not.
Corey? That's what I
No.
figure. I'm like, Corey, I mean, I'm
I
like,
had
Brie,
to move
you
home.
learned the lesson. It takes you a while, I feel like, right?
I
Okay.
didn't, but Um,
Eventually.
no, yeah, because then I moved home after that, and he was, officially a firefighter and starting his career. But like, I also moved home, and I came home to a mess.
Hmm.
Not necessarily a beautiful mess. I got to spend the last 8, 9 months with my mom after
Hmm.
being away for college for 4.5 years, and Corey was there, but he also gave me the space where like I would work and I would come home and I would take her to appointments. And, Corey was on the back burner for a while and he was
Hmm.
okay being there.
Yeah.
Um, so there were also those moments where, and then after my mom passed, I had to go through the whole grievance and, I was trying to find myself and I had a lot of responsibilities. I'm the oldest of the three
Mhm.
siblings and my mom put everything in my name and I was 22 years old. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, maybe, it all connects now where my mom
Mhm.
wanted, she wanted me to leave at 18 to learn how to write checks and pay bills and get a job and work for my money. And when I moved home and my mom put everything in my name, I was responsible for selling her home, selling her things, her car. And I feel like that was like a whole going back to Corey, that was a whole nother kind of roller coaster where I was tunnel vision on that. And he was sitting there and he was along for the ride and just there for me.
Yeah.
Made some mistakes. Like I was a mess for a while.
Yeah.
Um, Finally got it together and
And you did it with such grace. It was it was this you made it look so easy, but I know it was
was a lot.
not.
There were like, and I
Yeah.
could pack so many different things, fights with siblings, showing up places, and having to write checks and close accounts and this and that,
Yes.
all while still trying to like find who am I after college.
Yeah, like trying to find yourself and then also entering this relationship. It's just a lot to balance. So and and to move through. And it's just I think this is why, and I say it to you all the time. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. Like you're one of my best
Oh, bless
friends.
him.
I know, right? You're like, keep going, bitch. But
No, it's
like you are one of the strongest women I've ever known. And I am like the way you mother with such strength and softness and intention. And not even just the way you mother, the way that you show up for the people that you love in your life, your husband, your
yeah,
friends, like it is so inspiring. And every single day,
thank
I'm
you.
like, and I'm in my mother season, so I'm like, I tell you, I'm like, I want to be Brie. I need to be Briana Carey Masiello. But you are just such an inspiring person
Thank you.
because I cannot imagine. And it's like you do it again without like complaining. Because even when we talk, like
So
you'll talk to me about things, but it's
mhm,
never I don't know. You're just a badass. Like it's wild.
Thanks, babe.
You know.
I do think there is like this flaw, like in my marriage, Corey and I have gotten to this point because I've kind of been forced to be so strong, in certain situations
Yeah.
that when it came to having children back to back, and it was really important to me to breastfeed for 2 years and to home birth these kids and to homeschool them and to be very present with them. And it got
Intentional.
right. And it got to a point where, you're up multiple times a night. Um, and even though your husband's there and he's just like, well, why don't you just pump and I'll feed the baby. I was engorged anyways. I had to get up and pump anyways, and it was just easier. But there were moments in my marriage where, and also Corey, he works 24-hour shifts. So, I sleep home alone 3 nights a week. Sometimes 4 if he's working a 48-hour shift. And I'm like running on fumes at that point, especially when the kids were younger. And, there was like a point where Corey and I had to have a conversation because he has seen me be strong in so many different chapters of my life that he just thinks, Bree's got this.
You got it.
I got it. And there are moments where I had to look at him and say, you need to tap in. I know you think I'm strong, but I'm about to crash. And it was just kind of like he had to tap in. And not that he's always been a great father, a very present father, but it just comes so naturally to him that he thinks that me waking up 3 times a night does nothing for me because I'm able to go to all these homeschool co-ops and just go, and then sports in the evening. And there was a time period where it was like, I need you to tap in. And he did.
Yeah.
But
I'm proud of you for even communicating that, because for somebody that takes on so much responsibility, like I feel like you must have been at your lowest for you to communicate, because I feel like it's hard for you. You are the person that's like, I got this. I don't need help. I'm independent. Like I'm in control. And so I think it takes a lot of strength for you to look at your partner and say, you're it. Like
I have a hard time like with emotions too, and being vulnerable, and I don't like anyone to see me weak.
But that's not weakness.
No, it's not. But sometimes it's okay too. And I'm very hard on myself where I'm like, I cannot fail. I cannot fail. And then I get in my head, and that's where I call you and I'm like, hey, I need a little therapy session.
No, I think because I recently did an episode on postpartum, and it was very hard for me to admit the B cup is out. No, it was very hard for me to admit that I had postpartum depression or anxiety. And I was never formally diagnosed. I have no idea what it was, but I knew it was something. Like I was not okay.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I did look at you and I did look at my little sister, and I'm like, you guys are doing this without complaining, without like, I need to be better. I need to do this. But at the same time, I reached out to you and to Julie. You guys were like my people postpartum, and I'm so thankful. And so I don't even want to say like you're not emotional. I think you've gotten so much better at just being vulnerable. Like you're very honest with everybody, even being on here right now and just talking about your experiences. Like, and that has helped me through my experience.
I also think I've tried, to look at different things. Like, I don't ever want to judge someone who is doing something different than me or explain or dealing with something differently than me, right? You going through your postpartum journey, if you're saying you're feeling this way, this way, and this way, just because maybe I didn't feel one of those ways doesn't mean that you're not allowed to feel it. So in a sense, like just being able to listen to you, if you're saying like, I'm not sleeping and it is drastically affecting me, like maybe, there's another mom who had a nanny or a grandmother who was helping out. Everyone's story is different. So I just feel like what I've learned in being able to like connect with other moms and still connect with lifelong friends that go through different chapters at different times, right? You're still in the newborn phase in a sense. And when Olivia turns 4, you may enter a new chapter that I never went through. You know what I mean? And where it could be really hard for you, or it could be super easy and fun. Or, you know, if you choose to have a second kid, everyone is having a different timeline and different chapters. And I think just being able to listen. So when you called me, of course I relate to you. I did it, you know, I felt a lot of the things that you felt. And I think just being able to have someone to listen to you and acknowledge, like, I know you're tired and you're going to be tired tomorrow too, but you're going to get through this, you know? And you
Yeah, I
did.
think the hardest part was going back to conscious parenting and doing it with intention. Like
Mhm.
you and I are very similar in that way as well, you know, where I wanted to breastfeed for as long as I could. I wanted to co-sleep, and I did. I wanted to contact nap. But at the same time, you lose yourself in that. So it's this tug of war in your brain of like, I want to do all of these things. I want to be so connected. I don't want to let my child go, but I also don't want to feel disconnected from myself, you know, because
Right.
I have this child on my body. I mean, 24/7. I mean, if you think about it, every 3 hours you're breastfeeding. I mean,
When they
and
want
that's
to
why
hold
we,
you, they want to feel skin on skin with you, I think until they're like maybe 3 or 4, maybe.
yeah,
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 and still wants to, if he comes in my room in the middle of the night, he still lays right here
yeah.
in my
I
arm
mean,
cup.
you know how it is. Like, by the way, Olivia fell out of the bed the other day and she has like this big knot on her head. And I thought of you. I remember you telling me, like, my boys have fallen out of the bed so many times. You're just like, oh shit.
It's so
But
bad. And,
I know. And that's, I mean, once they get bigger and with the co-sleeping, because Olivia still ends up in our bed. I can't help it. But yeah, it's harder to sleep with. I'm like, girl, you know, but anyways, yeah, like just even her waking up in the middle of the night and wanting to breastfeed, I would, you know, and she's just sucking on my boob. And so it's like you're constantly, you know, there's
oh
something
my
on
gosh,
you. What?
this is like,
Please?
okay. So last week, okay, I
Uh-huh.
haven't breastfed in 2 years. So Enzo's
Uh-huh.
4. I stopped when he was 2. But I noticed like sometimes like I could still get a little bit of
Oh,
milk out.
really? Okay.
Drops. Okay. So last weekend, I felt like a sty coming in my eye.
Yeah.
And the crunchy mom in me, like,
Hmm.
and my sister reminded me too. My sister's like, you used to say breast milk in the eye, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, you know what? So I went home. This is so bad.
Squeezed your tit a little.
I did. You can still see
Good.
like the sty a little bit here. I got some out. Something's going on with my left breast right now. I think
Huh.
it's a little bit bigger than the other. My nipples hurt, and I might have
Started it again.
like stirred the pot a little bit.
I love the female body. It's like, girl, you got a sty. Let me give you a little juice. And
Yeah.
then it's like, let's heal ourselves. And now you're just releasing milk.
It's like, what the fuck did you just do?
I love this.
Like, your left boob is bigger, Brianna.
Yeah.
He's like, you're
He's like,
we're
can you
not.
do it to the right?
Yeah.
Can you can you do a little magic
Actually,
here?
I mean, we could talk about like now. So, anyways, the moral of the story is I did get a few drops in my eye.
Okay.
It never like it was just like a little. It felt like a sty or something was coming. Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't know if it worked. Maybe it
Well,
didn't. Maybe it did.
I don't
My
see a
nipples
sty. I
hurt.
think it worked. Well,
Yeah.
like I remember where I was talking to you, calling you when I had Olivia. And
Mm-hmm.
I felt so comfortable doing it because I knew you were mothering the way I was. And there was so much noise around me of like, just give her medicine, put her down, let her cry, like all the unsolicited feedback and opinions and the judgment of how I was doing things. And I'm like, okay, I need to call Brie. I need to call Julie, my little sister, because you guys made me feel so safe in my experience and
Right.
made me feel so seen in what I was feeling. And I just needed that. You had nothing to fix. You didn't correct me. I just needed you to listen, you know?
Yeah.
So thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But
I
it's
try.
nice because then you're so open now too on social media about like your experiences and stuff. So I appreciate that. But I want to, with your mom, how do you think she would feel about the way that you know, did things with your pregnancy and post birth?
So,
I'm curious.
yeah, this is a tricky question because okay, so when I got pregnant with Tristan, my first, I feel like I might have been one of the first one of the first out of like the friend group to maybe have I want to say I was one of the first to have like a
Hmm.
child in like my circle.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make choices and decisions that were against the grain, the normality of
Unconventional.
society,
Hmm.
right? And it was just my instinct, and this is no judgment on any other woman's choices, right? When they get pregnant, how they choose to give birth or breastfeeding or not, or co-sleeping or not. But I remember looking at Corey and I said, I really want to have a home birth. I want to do this naturally. I want to do it. And I put in the work. I remember I took birthing classes. I did prenatal yoga. I hired a doula. And, that was another thing with my birth experience is I wanted a woman in the room who had a baby, who knew what it was like to give birth. And I found a doula, and I love her. I still keep in touch with her today. And I found my midwife delivered all three of my babies, and we are very, very close friends. And I surrounded myself with other women in the community that had the same outlook that I wanted to achieve. And I
Hmm.
put in all this work. Now, this is going to come full circle with like my mom. I did have family members who did not agree with me, who thought
Hmm.
it was dangerous. And I want to say, COVID kind of brought a lot more home births during that time. A lot of more women were choosing home births, but I had my oldest before all of that. And I feel like choosing a home birth, everyone was like, what? What do you
Hmm.
mean? You could go to the hospital and still have and I know I could have, right? I am strong enough. I could probably do that. But this is what I wanted. So I had some negative comments from family members. And it was really hard to navigate. Some were saying, like, would your mom have wanted this? Your mom gave birth in the hospital. Would your mom? So going
That
back,
makes me so mad.
yeah. So going back to that question, I can't answer for my mom because she's not here. Now,
Hmm.
could my mom have said, Briana, you're crazy? Absolutely. Could she have disagreed with, listen, I'm homeschooling three children. She probably could disagree with me. But in my mom to me would have been by my side no matter what path I chose to take.
Hmm.
Now, to other people, my mom may have not been on my side. And I think that goes back to your perception of losing someone, what they mean to you. My sister had a different relationship with my mother, and I had a different relationship with my mother. It doesn't mean that one is wrong and one is right, for example. And just because my mom may have expressed, maybe my mom she did have her children in the hospital and went back to work and put us in school, it doesn't mean that she wouldn't have supported me and my choices. So I think going back to that question again, it's just kind of like in my mind and what I tell myself every day, because losing your mom at such a young age granted, I was out of college, I was a little older, but it was still so hard. She's missed
Hmm.
so many milestones of my life. And
Yeah.
I miss her every day.
Yeah.
I feel like she would be so proud of me, my choices. I don't think she would have ever cut me off or, you know, put me in the category of the black sheep of the family. Yeah, I call myself the black stallion in the family,
That you are, ma'am.
stick out.
Well, I think that is so out of line. I also think that she would be so proud of you. Like,
Mhm.
she was so strong, so fierce, so powerful, so much fun. She was a badass.
Yeah.
And everything she was, I feel like you carry every single day. You
Yeah.
carry her legacy and everything that you do.
Thank you. I agree. And I
Yeah,
realize that I can't sit here and say, what would my mom say? What would she? I'm going to choose what I have to build my own life. And this is what works for me. And,
sure.
you know, this sounds really bad to say, but like, she's gone. So I don't
Mhm.
like when people try to put words in her mouth because she's not here to
Yes.
defend herself. And that was a huge hump.
So disrespectful to
Right.
you.
And that's a huge hump I had to climb.
What did
You
you
know,
do? Because you're pregnant and then you're getting this negative feedback from people who should be supporting you. So like what did you do with those relationships? How did you get
so
through that?
it took me a very, very long time. Um,
Hmm.
there's certain people that are not in my life anymore that I miss a lot.
Hmm.
And I will always miss the relationships that I did have. But when you're starting a family, I've learned and I've been on this healing journey after, having my third child, and I went through it was the hardest transition for me going from 2 to 3 kids and finding myself again. And learning that life is really really fucking short.
Hmm.
And I miss these people every day, but what I will say is when you decide to start a family, all that matters are the four walls and who's inside them. At the end of the day, everything else is outside noise. And I'm still learning that because I'm still trying to now build this new version of me
Hmm.
post post toddlers. I don't
Yeah.
maybe just trying to find who I am, and I feel like I try to zone in and not let the outside noise get to me, and it still
Yeah.
does. I have grown tremendously where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to focus on the relationships I have.
Mhm.
Um, I'm going to define my mother how I want to define her. It's my
Yeah.
opinion, my view of how she would view me. But at the end of the day, I like there was something going back to like the pregnancy, there was something in my heart and soul that wanted so bad to have my children in a tub in my bedroom with the lights dim and calm music playing and my husband holding me through contractions. There was just something so intimate, and I fought so hard to
Mhm.
learn about it, to watch the videos. I wanted it so bad, and it's a beautiful story even
Mhm.
though it was not the the normal back then, right?
Mhm.
And I fought really hard for that and I worked really hard. And I actually
Which,
remember
go ahead.
after someone telling me that I was lucky that I had such an amazing birth. And I remember them looking at me saying, well, you got lucky that nothing bad happened. And
I'm gonna hang up. I'm so mad. People say the worst shit.
no, you know what though? Now that I look back on it, it rolls off my shoulders. And I carried this weight here for so long where I'm like, who cares? Who cares that they thought I was lucky? That's their opinion. They're entitled to their opinion. It offended me because I know how hard I worked. But
Yeah.
why am I going to argue with someone and show them and tell them and explain to them how hard I worked? I don't need to change their opinion of me. They're going to think what
I'm
they want
so
to
proud of
think.
you.
It took me a very long time to get here.
Well,
Very long time. And listen, if my husband was here right now, he would be like, Brianna back then was it was hard. I cried a lot and I just fought through what I wanted and what I wanted to do.
mhm.
Going back to my second pregnancy with River,
Uh-huh.
He was a week late, and I was planning for my second home birth. He was a week late, and the comments started coming in. This is not good. I was walking on the beach every night. This is not good. What is it called? The meconium could be, and all of these things that could have happened, right? And I remember I had to go get adjusted at the chiropractor, and she looked at me and she goes, I think she put some essential oils like for me to smell, and she goes, Briana, fuck them.
Yeah.
And she let me adjust you. And she was like, this baby's coming. Fuck what they think. You're going to have a beautiful birth. There's going to be no meconium or what. I don't even remember anymore. I'm
no
so
poops.
no poop. And
no poops.
And she was like, she grabbed my shoulders and she's like, let go of the fucking bullshit from other people. I went into labor the next day.
Yes. You were just carrying the stress and the weight.
Carrying it so heavy. And and I'll never forget. And she was right. I went into labor the next day. I had a beautiful birth that I also worked hard for. Every birth is hard work. And even if you choose to have a birth in a hospital or you have a C-section, it's all hard work. But this was my story, and I fought for this one, and this is what I wanted. And I didn't like that people always had opinions. And I'm still learning to not listen to other people's opinions.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still learning not to get pissed off for you at other people's opinions. You know me, I'm very protective.
You are protective over me. Yeah.
But just going back a few things, and I want to close the loop on this one thing, is everything you just said, your mom, and again, not speaking for her, would be very proud of you for just following your gut, your intuition.
Yeah.
No, and I'm just going to leave that there. Like, she would be so supportive and so proud. Also, I remembered when you talked about the transition from 2 to 3, I remember going home and meeting up with you at Starbucks, and you looked empty.
Say it. Yeah.
You looked empty is what I'm going to say. No, and you just told me like you were not okay. Like, it was so hard. You were not okay. When did you start feeling okay? Like, what? Because now you start talking about like you making time for yourself. Like, when did you start feeling okay, and what did that look like?
Having a third, it's beautiful. I love having my 3 boys. The adjustment was hard. I was still, so when Enzo, my littlest, was born, was Tristan 5 or 6? My oldest was 6. And then River, my middle,
5.
was so 5, 3, newborn. So Tristan's was starting like kindergarten, homeschool. And I was very hard on myself. I got to make sure I do language arts, reading, math, and writing every day. And then here I am trying to breastfeed. And then here's my middle child who is 3. And I don't know, he's running around the house with like a bucket on his head. I don't know. It's very loud. It's chaotic. I lost myself, basically. Going from 2 to 3 children was my hardest transition. I know a lot of people say going from 1 to 2 is hard for them. From who I've spoken to, but
going from 0 to 1 has been very hard for me. Yeah. Like what?
There was a moment I just kept turning on the TV. I was trying to make it to homeschool events at the zoo, at these parks, and it was hot out, and I'm sitting here. I got a baby on my boob. I got my 3-year-olds needing a diaper change or potty training, and I don't know, peeing on a tree. I was a mess. Corey's gone for 24-hour shifts. I think he was studying. I don't know if he was newly a captain at the fire station at that point. I don't
think he was.
Okay.
I don't think he was.
it just I didn't have any support. The only support I had to help me was my sister, but she works a full-time job Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and she has responsibilities too. So it was just a very challenging time. I want to say I was in the thick of it for 2 years. I think
I
there
want
was,
to ask you, and I
yeah.
know I just asked this one question and I should let you finish, but you
No,
say I didn't have support. You didn't have support at all with one, two, with three. How, and we talked about this earlier, like you did it. Corey works 24-hour shifts. You fucking did it. But how did you do it?
you
Who
know,
was your support?
my
Everyone needs,
I my sister was my support. And then I think it just got to a point in time where I had to rely. There was a point where I hired cleaning ladies bi-weekly to help me with the house chores. I was ordering Uber Eats for a while, and that adds up.
yeah.
I still get in trouble for that, but
Our husbands and the finances, I can't.
yeah.
Ugh, okay, continue.
I'm in my financial sponsor, I like to call him.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm in timeout.
I'm in the doghouse always, so
Yeah, yeah, whatever.
la la
But
la.
sister was very helpful. She would come over when she would work from home, and she would, just help me make lunch for the kids, or, now she's been very helpful too. Because as the kids get older, I'm doing different things with each of them.
Mhm.
Yesterday I had to take Tristan to get his blood drawn. She dropped off River, the middle one, at the school program, and then took Enzo, the youngest, back to her house. And so it was just like, for her to just drive over and do that for me, like, that's my support. Now,
Yeah.
going back to like when they were all three very little, it was just, I just had to do it. And I think that's where I always looked at Corey and I was like, hey, I,
That
I,
communication
I
piece.
need, yes, I was,
I'm wondering too, like when I saw you, when you transitioned from two to three, you had an insane 5, 6, 7 years losing your mom. And I don't mean to speak for you. You can tell me yes or no. I imagine there is you have to relive that morning of not having your mom, with you and that support. And there's different things that happen in life. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering if you carried it all for so many years and you said it's hard for you to be vulnerable, to show emotion, if it just kind of like fucking added up and you just lost it, as one would in
right.
that situation.
I think I also want to go back. Um, it's important to build your tribe and your village. And, going back to my sister with the family support. When
Yeah.
my oldest was 2.5, I found a homeschool group. And it's a group of women all around my age. I do think I'm still the youngest, and I always like,
You're like, I love that.
I'm the baby of the group.
Yeah.
The community that they have given me, where they also we do sports together in the evenings. I have this group of girlfriends that I feel so lucky in the homeschool community. I've gone on vacations with them. We've gone on vacations with our children, even just moms. I mean, a few of us went to New York last year. Pockets of time where like they are my village.
Yeah.
And they will always say, I'll call them in the mornings and they're like, hey, I could take Tristan to jujitsu tonight, or Tristan and River, or, hey, bring Enzo over. And there's just like these moments with them where I'm like, wow, that's my village. And they're so good to me. And
How is that? How was that at first? Because for someone that doesn't like to ask for help, was that odd for you?
I think a lot of the moms in the homeschool community, I'm obviously speaking for them. I guess my opinion is they were all kind of on the same journey too. They wanted to homeschool, they had their children back to back, and they were trying to navigate play dates, letting the kids run around all day as us moms are there breastfeeding the second baby or third baby and sweating in the Florida heat. And I think we all just came together where it's like sometimes like Enzo is just like snacking on someone else's lunches and the moms just like let him. Like
Yeah.
there's not a lot of judgment. All the moms just come together in times
That's such a relief. Like that's
yeah,
so refreshing.
I feel so lucky to have found this specific group. I laugh with them, I cry with them. We go out on moms' nights every so often,
They're
and
cool as shit.
they
You
are
guys went to
really cool.
Tampa and
Yeah,
came, I met some of them at brunch and they're
yeah.
just, and I was like, oh my God, babe, we need to move home so I can join
They
Brianna's homeschool group.
they're all normal moms. They're like, I mean,
Yeah.
what normal is these days, but like
Yeah.
they've also like provided like a sisterhood, like just that community where even if like someone's kid is going through like sick or this or that, there's always a mom available where they have a resource or they're like, hey, order this or hey, I have this. I'm going to drop it off at your house. That's just been like the village.
Yeah.
They're my family. And
I love that.
they're all really, really good moms. And I think we all just help each other.
I'm happy you found that. And I think
Yeah.
it's so powerful. And I think women, for the most part, are coming together more and supporting each other more and coming in without judgment and negative opinions and that's so important. And I love seeing it unfold and evolve,
Right.
and it's beautiful. And I'm so happy that you found that. Because, and part of me, this is not about me, but like I am disappointed in myself because I didn't realize like how challenging it is to have children without having, your family in your corner. And I didn't realize it until I experienced it myself. And so I'm like, I'm just like, damn, how did Brie do this? Like, how did you do it? Because it is so challenging.
I went on a Facebook group and I said, this is like a funny story. I still joke with her today. I went on a Facebook group in South Florida and it was like this like-minded moms and it seemed like everyone in the group had like wanted to homeschool and they were all looking for similar resources, outdoor play for the kids and park meetups. And I posted and I said, hey, is there anyone in this group? I have a
Look at
2-year-old
you.
newborn. Yeah, I put myself
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
And one of the moms reached out and it was
I
like
love
we
it.
online dated. And she clicked my picture and I joke with her like she liked what she saw.
Yeah. You're like,
She's probably
I
like,
love
oh
that.
man, I got Brie in my life and
Yeah. Look at
I'm
this crunchy bitch.
yeah.
No, but I've always loved that about you too. You have been really good about just meeting friends and connecting with people. You've always had, and maybe back then it wasn't the right group of people, but like you've grown, you evolved, and you have found the right group of people. But you've always been just so, it's just been so easy for you to connect with people. For me, it was a little bit harder.
Yeah, yes.
I was
I'm
very picky and particular
yeah.
about energy was always a big thing for me. Like if I just got a
Yeah.
sense of something not being right, I'm like, Brie, I'm not going to hang out with them. You're like, come hang out. And I'm like, I'm not going to hang out with them. Bye. Like, but you've always been really good
Yeah.
about just kind of putting yourself out there and connecting with people. I love that about you.
Thanks. I've been trying to meet new people and
Yeah.
still put myself out there because there's always room for growth. You never know
Mm-hmm.
who's going to cross your path. And, I think we were talking about going from like how 2 to 3 kids was hard for me. But I feel like right now I'm in this phase of my life where I'm trying to find me again. And I've been working really, really hard on myself while still being a loving and present mother and wife.
Do you
But
ever feel guilty?
there are moments. where I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, did I really need to go to that extra workout while,
Yeah.
the kids were tired or, things like that. There's moments like that. But I feel like I found a rhythm after doing this for, maybe about like 2 years now.
Hmm.
And I think just finding myself again, I feel like there's so like how you were saying, like, college Brie and, you know, um, the Brie
Middle
who
school Brie.
right, and all these different phases. I do feel like I feel empowered right now where I feel like there's more chapters to unlock.
Mhm.
And I feel like almost I'm scratching the surface and I feel like I'm really happy with how hard I've worked, where I'm at in my life, and I just feel like there's more. And I don't know
Yeah.
what it is yet. I don't know if I'll ever go back to work. I don't know if I'll find different kind of hobby or, I'm trying new things. But I do feel like there's more and I'm like itching to find out what it is.
I'm I love you so much. Again, like I'm just so proud of you. No, seriously, you are so inspiring. And I'm so thankful that we've had this friendship and that we've maintained this friendship. And like you are just such a beautiful soul.
Oh,
You are. I just love you so, so much. And if anybody does listen to this episode, it's like I encourage them to go find you on Instagram, to follow you on Instagram because you're so real and raw. And you have 3 children, you have your husband, you have your life, but you're also now making time for yourself. You're working out. You go to jujitsu. I don't even know how to say that. Jujitsu? Is it a dog? Shih Tzu.
jujitsu.
I can't
Jujitsu.
say it. But like
Yeah.
even my husband will see like you doing this with your kids and he's like, we should do that. And I was like, I know I need to be more like Brie, but she's also one. So just give me time.
I'm gonna
But
be honest. Well, so there's like this like difference like with the whole like Instagram thing. I post a lot of workout videos lately because I feel like I'm passionate about it. I'm happy with how
mhm,
much I've transformed my body after 3 children.
yeah,
And I'm proud of it. Obviously posting on Instagram, a lot of it comes off sexual because I'm always
what do
posting,
you mean?
I'm posting like my outfits and
Wait,
like
did
what?
someone tell you that it came off sexual? Because I need to know why you think this. Because I don't look at your
It's my
Instagram.
husband.
Oh, okay, girl. No,
It's
I don't
it's
see you.
funny
Well,
because
obviously.
I feel like when you have a hobby and you're passionate about something, if someone is passionate about cooking, they're going to post all their meals. If someone is passionate about drawing, they're going to post their drawings. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about me and just
Tori's
like,
like, stop showing your abs, Brie.
yeah,
It's so funny
probably.
because, gosh, our husbands, who, again, we can recognize how supportive and amazing they are. But
Yeah.
even I wanted to post a picture, and I did, of me laying in bed naked, or I think I was looking at Olivia,
Yeah. You
and
posted
I
it?
post on a story. And one day maybe I
Okay.
will post it as an actual post. You don't
Yeah.
see anything. It's a beautiful photo. It's covered
Yeah.
up. But I
Yeah.
remember Ricky like, like, do you really want to post that? And I'm like, because you said that, I will post it on my story. But it's just so funny there because it's like it's a little section. I'm like, there's nothing sexy about this. It's beautiful. It's like
Yeah.
I've created this. This is my child. You've created this. This is my body. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do the damn thing. Our
Yeah.
husbands. Love
And
you guys. Leave us
yeah,
alone.
love
Just
you.
kidding.
Is I just feel like right now that's my art.
Yes?
I'm proud of my body. I've transformed it. I want to keep transforming it. I've had a few setbacks the past couple months with some injuries. But I
I
hope to
told
keep
you it's your body telling you to chill the fuck out
I
for a
know I need
second.
to. I know. I had my kneecap popped out. Luckily that was fine. And then I
No
keep
big deal.
yeah, I have an old back
You're
in
such a boy, mom. My
yeah.
knee popped out.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I have a back injury right now that kind of like it started to ache again. It's like an old injury. I keep pulling some muscles, so I do know I'm pushing myself really hard, and it has been like I know I need to take a step back and just reevaluate
Yeah.
There's been a lot going on, just in life in general. And sometimes
Yeah.
I keep telling myself the comeback will be better than the setback right now.
Hmm.
So I'm definitely going through some injuries that I'm trying to work through. I probably need some yoga, but I can't stand yoga. So sorry.
You
No,
need to, no, you need to, well, no, it's not for everybody. Like
I'm
you
just
need to
more of like
move
the
your body.
aggressive, like, yeah,
Yeah. You've
like,
always been,
yeah,
you've
like,
always not aggressive. You've always wanted to like move your body. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So that's
I,
not,
I try to calm my mind, but you know what? I thrive in chaos, and it's okay. That's who I am. That's what I
yeah, I'm
prefer.
fine. I'm totally cool. You do it well and you do it with such grace for
Yeah.
sure. And again,
The
like people should just be like, I'm just so inspired by the human being that you are. So
well,
I wanted to know about like the mom guilt and if it's something that you still carried because not that you ever did, but it's a real thing for a lot of moms. I have it all the time. I went out to dinner with girlfriends last night and I'm like, oh, like I made sure to have dinner with Olivia before I left, because it's just you carry that. And so I'm wondering when and if it ever ends. I definitely need to be better about putting myself first and doing things for myself, but eventually.
the mom guilt has gone away drastically.
Okay.
Where I'm at a point where I didn't feel like 100% going
Hmm.
from 2 to 3 kids, and I beat myself up. I was crying a lot. I was very emotional. There was one day where I went through the Chick-fil-A drive-through twice
Oh
for lunch,
shit.
dinner when Corey was on shift. And
DoorDash, Chick-fil-A. Who is
I
this
was like,
Brie?
no, I would go in the line with the kids, the long line, and I would just sit there because it was like a reason to get out of the house. That's
Yeah.
how bad it was. So going back to like your question on mom guilt, no, the house needs a happy mom. The house needs a mom who takes care of herself. When I
Hmm.
go to the gym in the morning or even in the evening, I wake up and I feel good about myself. When
Thank you for saying that and putting it
it,
into
it's
perspective like that.
it's so important. When I go back and I look at photos of me and the kids younger, I never wanted to be in the photos. And
Mm.
I've actually made it a habit of every time I go to the beach every weekend with my kids, I tell
Hmm.
Corey, take a picture of me and the boys, take a picture of me and the boys, because I'm not
Good.
embarrassed to be in the photos. I'm happy and I'm proud of myself. And I feel like when I look at those photos, I feel the good energy. So the
Yeah.
mom guilt, and I'm not saying there's not moments of weakness where I'm like, okay, did I really need to go down to South Beach and go to the spa last week?
Yes, you
And,
did.
and sometimes I'm like, did I do a little too much? But I'm happy, and I feel like when you talk about energy, you
Yeah.
have to take care of yourself. And whether it's going for a walk,
Hmm.
go outside and just go do something, because you come back and you have like a breath of fresh air. Like it's just like it's a recharge.
Two things
Mhm.
on this. And I love thank you for saying that the house needs a happy mom and putting it into perspective for
Yeah.
me because I was going to ask you like how do you hold space for grief and the responsibility of being a mom, right? And for me, it's so wild. Like I cry so much now and I cry in the shower and I journal and I do your favorite yoga. I dive into my spiritual practices. But I release so much so that when I'm with my daughter, I can be present for her, right? And I think at first I didn't realize the two could coexist.
Right.
But I'm like, I can fucking cry. It's okay. And sometimes Ricky's like, what are you crying? And I'm like, I just need a second. It's just a release. I'm releasing so that when my daughter comes home, I can show up for her and I could be there.
Yeah.
And
And
so, and
it's good. Yeah. But
yeah,
I do think like you're still in, the thick of it a little bit.
yeah, it's
And
my first time,
right, you're still up at
right?
night. You're still up at night, right, with her?
She slept last night, but
Okay.
yes, for the most part. And
And it's
you know
hard,
me, when she cries, I go get her. I
right?
can't
And
do it. And
And it makes
Yeah.
you, when you wake up in the morning, you're probably grabbing that coffee and then you're
You're
exhausted
tired.
because you were up. Sleep's very, very important. And so
Yeah.
I think being able to just like kind of, even if it's like 30 minutes, you journaling, you reading a good
Hmm.
book, or I've been reading again too, and it just like takes like some, it puts you somewhere else. Your mind goes somewhere else because
Correct.
all the,
It's
yeah.
like meditating.
Yeah.
It's like, that is your stillness. You say you can't be still, but reading is your stillness. That's your
Yeah.
practice. Yeah, the
So
second thing I was going
go-
to say was I also love, because I said going back to social media, you post a lot. I love seeing you post so much about you, like with you and your family, and you going to the beach every week and doing all the classes. Like it is so cool to see. And again, inspiring to see for me as a new mom, because that's where I want to get. I called my parents yesterday. I said, hey, I'm actually going to be coming down a lot more. I think once a week. I'll be there once a week. I'll be
yeah.
there once a month with the caveat is I'm bringing my daughter. My dad's like, oh no, you're bringing our grandchild, but I'm like, I need you guys to babysit because you're my village. You're not here every day. And I'm going to go hang out with Brie. I was like, I'm going to go grab
My gosh.
like, no, because you went to your spa day. And I was like, I need that. I know we have Ricky's friends here. We have the village here,
Mhm.
and we are so blessed to have them.
Right.
Um, but my girls are down south in Florida. My people are in
So
Florida.
good.
Yeah, and I watch your stories and I'm like, I'm ready. I'm gonna go home more. I'm gonna take my child on that flight and I'm gonna go hang out with my girls and she's gonna get some time with her grandparents and we all win. So but that inspired me the other day too. So just FYI, I'll be there. And we need to make plans.
To take you to a spa, or do we?
Yes, Bree. Yes, you do. No, but wherever I want to go when I'm there in a couple of weeks, we have to make a reservation. We have to get dinner and
Okay.
drinks wherever that place was. It was so cute.
Yeah, Mykonos, I think is the
Maybe.
place I went to with Corey. Yeah, that's like Greek.
Yeah,
Um,
I wanted also, where are you getting your clothes? Because I mean, you've always been like the Sex and the City goddess, Jessica. Like, was that Sarah Jessica Parker?
yeah,
Carrie?
Carrie Bradshaw. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're like, yeah,
Yeah.
Carrie Bradshaw, bitch. You've always just been so on point with your style.
You know, it's really
Um,
funny because scrolling on Instagram, I'm so hard on myself because I'm like, look how
who
cute these
isn't?
other girls' outfits are. I wanna dress up more.
You look stunning and you have been doing that more. Like I've seen such a shift in your aura.
I'm just trying not to wear, I obviously wear leggings every day to the gym,
Yeah.
but getting up and doing your hair and makeup and putting on a cute outfit, you're already starting the day with good
Yeah.
energy because you look
Hmm.
in the mirror, and this goes back to like the mom guilt when I was going through a hard time. I'm so proud of myself right now. And some people may be like, I don't know. Oh, she's so full of herself. Oh, like, oh, she's at the gym again, or oh, like whatever. She's out again. And I'm just like, you know what? I love me. And I'm in a relationship with myself too. And
Knowing you, I just said I'm proud of it's
yeah,
inspiring. I love that you
yeah.
do that.
Like when my sister was like, hey, come to Miami, for the day and spend the day with me. I'm like, Miami Beach? Oh, what can I pack that like I don't wear?
Yeah.
In front of my kids, and I'm just like, you know what, heck yeah, let's do this. I thank you. I have been trying to dress up a lot more. Obviously if Corey was a part of this conversation, he would tell you to stop talking because
Yeah, because the money, I know.
yeah, I've been trying to like just explore with like different outfits and different styles and just see what fits and what I feel
I'm
good at.
raiding your closet next time I'm there. And it probably, you're
I
like, no,
tell
I
I tell
won't
all
touch
my
your shoes.
friends. Yeah, I tell all my friends, so I'm like the local friends, but obviously when you come down, like some of these dresses I've only worn once, and I'm just like, someone wear them. They're cute dresses, and
I'll
like,
wear them.
yeah, wear them. And
Well,
then,
my baby shower day, I was like, Brie, I need a dress.
oh my gosh, like last minute, you were like, hey, do
Yeah.
you have a dress? And I'm like, hey, keep it. I haven't worn this
Yeah.
in years.
I tried it on the other day, by the way,
Did
because
you?
I wanted to wear it for
Yeah.
Easter. And I'm like, oh shit, the stomach, of course, because I wore it when I was pregnant. It doesn't fit.
Oh, it was like a little stretched, right?
Yeah.
Because I wore it
Yeah.
when I was pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Um,
Ricky's like, well, that's a maternity dress. I'm like, it is not
it
a
is not.
maternity dress.
We just
It,
stretched out with our
we
belly.
stretch that shit.
Was it Free People? I think it was from Free
Yeah,
People.
it was Free People. But I'm definitely raiding your closet when I'm
Okay.
there. I cannot wait.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Let's do it.
um, what's like one thing you've learned about yourself being a mom?
I think if there's one thing, it would have to be to stop being so hard on myself. That
Hmm.
everything will always turn out okay. Even
Yeah.
when mistakes are made, are they really mistakes or are they just little curveballs, lessons, or a new path in life?
Yeah.
I don't really know. I just think not being so hard on myself and knowing that this is my life and I'm going to live it the way I see fit. I
Yeah.
do think life is way too short.
Mhm.
It really is. We really are not promised. Tomorrow's not promised. And
Yeah.
so I try to live with that every day.
Mhm.
Just kind of taking it in. And yeah, I think just knowing that tomorrow's not guaranteed and we need to stop being so hard on ourselves.
Yeah. I'm still learning that for sure. It really does change you though. Like it really, really does. It puts a lot into perspective. And yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think you're doing an amazing job. You have grown so much. It is
Thank you.
so wild. But you've always been amazing. So the fact that you're just even more amazing is crazy. But you're doing
Thank you.
so good.
Thank you.
You're
It's
welcome. I
been
love
fun.
you.
I think we should
I
do
know.
this often.
We can. We can talk about a
Yeah.
lot of things. Like I could literally do this all fucking day. It is so much fun.
It
So,
is fun because you don't realize, like, you know, just really quick before you go, I just feel like there's so many people in your own community who have so much
mhm.
to offer and so much insight in different levels and different areas of their lives.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, for sure. I think too, that's what I love about podcasts so much is just hearing someone's story. You know, the world is so big and you get caught up in your day-to-day lives, and sometimes you
right.
don't have the time to connect, or sometimes people just don't communicate or just aren't as open, aren't as vulnerable. And so having a podcast, having a story to relate to, and you're just like, oh, I'm not alone in this. And
Yeah.
just bringing this all back together and putting a beautiful bow tie on it all. It's like you're a mother, you did things
Hmm.
unconventionally. You haven't had the support that a lot of people do, whether it's you physically have lost a parent or you're estranged from a parent or you're just your parents aren't close to you in proximity, like whatever it is, you know, somebody's going to be able to relate to you and your story and the things that you've gone through, and they'll feel seen, you know, listening to this. So
So,
thank you
we're
for being
not
so open and
perfect,
vulnerable.
and nobody is.
Nobody is.
Nobody
Nobody
is.
is.
And we all are just little stories.
Yeah.